Hello friends. Almost everybody loves horror movies, horror stories and of course horror places. To tell the truth, all these are rather scary and not everybody dares to watch or even to visit. However, on our planet there are many scary and mysterious places where nobody leaves. But imagine to go there. How would you feel? So, today I am going to talk about the scariest top 10 ghost towns around the whole world. Sit comfortably, we are starting. Before we start, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned. As we know, cities are the heart of modern life, but sometimes they die too. Abandoned settlements exist all over the world, mysterious, eerie, always arousing curiosity. There are many reasons why a city can become abandoned. From industrial cities evacuated by human-induced disasters to burgeoning metropolitan areas that have become extinct due to the failure of a local business, these are Europe's top ghost towns that can still be visited. Abandoned cities around the world, still without a single inhabitant, are reviving again, as tourists come here from afar to capture deserted, dilapidated buildings or deserted streets. As a rule, such places are completely uninhabited, although there are also ghost towns with a very small population. Some are denied access, while others have been turned into parks or tourist attractions. Here's a list of the most interesting, in our opinion, ghost towns on Earth. Keep watching to the end and find out what ghost town stays in the first place. I promise, it will be breathtaking. Kraco, Italy. This area was inhabited by the Greeks in around 540 years before Christ. It's when they moved from the coastal city of Metaponto inland and named the area Mondadoro. For centuries, there has been a successful settlement with a university, 4 large palazzo and a growing population. In 1656, as a result of the plague, the population was reduced by hundreds of times. Later Kraco gradually faded away, due to poor agricultural conditions. In 1892 to 1922, most of the inhabitants left for North America. Then, in 1963, there was a severe landslide and people had to be evacuated. After the earthquake in 1980, the site was completely abandoned. It is now a popular tourist attraction. Several films were also shot here, including Quantum of Solace and The Passion of Christ. So you can visit and see where the famous movies were made. Bodie, California, USA. In the 19th century, a rich gold mine was discovered in this gold-digging town, and Bodie grew to become a thriving city. In the best times, from 5,000 to 7,000 inhabitants lived here, 2,000 buildings were built. At the beginning of the 20th century, the city began to decline. Today Bodie is a true Wild West ghost town with only 110 buildings left. It is open to the public and tourists can freely walk along the deserted city streets and examine the remaining belongings on the shelves of shops in the interior of the premises. Amazing. Pripyat, Ukraine. Perhaps one of the most famous ghost towns in the world. Pripyat was founded in 1970 as the 9th nuclear city in the Soviet Union to support the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. By the time of the evacuation, the day after the Chernobyl disaster, in the afternoon of April 27. In 1986, the city's population was 49,360 people. Naturally, after the disaster, the city was abandoned and soon became a ghost town. Currently, when the radiation level has decreased, more and more tourists visit this place, and various Ukrainian companies offer excursions in the surrounding area. Oradour-sur-Glane, France. The next one is Oradour-sur-Glane is an abandoned village in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region in western central France. It was destroyed on June 10, 1944, when the Nazis killed almost all the inhabitants. 642 people were killed, including women and children. Of the entire population of the village, only about 30 people miraculously survived that day. All residents have to leave their homes. The men were gathered in sheds, where they were shot, and then set on fire. The women and children were locked in the church, which was also set on fire. What a pity. Those who tried to get out of the burning building were shot. How awful. After the war, French President Charles de Gaulle decided that the village should be turned into a memorial. A new village with the same name was built nearby. Varosha Quarter, Famagusta City, Cyprus. Today Varosha is an abandoned quarter in the south of the Cypriot city of Famagusta. And once, by the beginning of the 70s, it was the #1 tourist center in all of Cyprus. This led to the emergence of new buildings, mainly hotels and various tourist attractions. At its peak, Varosha was the tourist center of Nome. The only one in the world and saw such guests as Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and Brigitte Bardot. That all changed with the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974, when the territory came under Turkish control. The inhabitants of Varosha fled, and the territory remained abandoned and was under the occupation of the Turkish armed forces. To this day, the Varosha quarter is uninhabited and entry into it is prohibited. Kennicott, Alaska, USA. Kennicott was once a central mining camp that connected several copper mines. It all started back in 1900, when rich deposits of copper ore with a high concentration, up to 70%, of pure chalcocite were found here. At that time, copper just became extremely valuable, thanks to the invention of electricity, cars and telephones. Therefore, hundreds of people are arriving here to work in copper mines 7 days a week. From 1909 to 1938, the Kennicott mines produced more than 4.6 million tons of ore, with profits exceeding $100 million. Just imagine. By the beginning of the 30s, deposits of high-quality ores were depleted and 5 mines closed one after another. The last train left Kennicott on November 10, 1938, marking the end of an era and leaving behind a ghost town. Dhanushkodi, India. Dhanushkodi was once a simple Indian city full of life and laughter. People could come and go on passenger trains, enjoy the views of the Laccadive Sea on one side and the Palak on the other. However, everything changed when on the night of 22 December 23, 1964 Cyclone Ramsvaram hit the city. The wind speed was 280 km per hour, and the tidal wave height was 7 meters. The disaster killed about 1,800 people. The city was abandoned by the inhabitants and declared uninhabitable. Today this place is popular among tourists. So book your ticket to Ghost Town. At last, I present to your attention the last top 3 of shocking ghost towns. Tavarga, Libya. The Libyan city of Tavarga was one of the places of fierce fighting during the 2011 civil war, as a result of which Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown and killed. The city's inhabitants, mostly black descendants of former slaves from sub-equatorial Africa, supported the Libyan dictator. After the victory of the National Transitional Council of the Libyan Republic, the city was plundered and almost completely burned down, and the population was ethnically cleansed and later expelled from the city under threat of violence. Before the revolution, more than 25,000 people lived in Tavarga. The last 3 years the city has been empty. Tavarga is not the only settlement to have become a ghost town during the recent war. During the Karabakh conflict, the city of Ogdam de facto ceased to exist. Imber, England. This village, located in Wiltshire in the Salisbury Plain, was evacuated in December 1943. Allied forces used the terrain to prepare for the invasion of Europe during the Second World War. The locals were never allowed to return to their homes, and the village remains to this day a training ground for British soldiers. However, it reopens to visitors for a period of the year, usually around Christmas and the so-called bank holidays. Pyramid, Svalbard, Norway. Attention! The first place, Pyramid, Svalbard, Norway. Are you kidding? The Swedish settlement was founded here in 1910, and in 1927 Sweden sold it to the Soviet Union. This is how the Soviet mining village of Pyramid appeared on the island of Western Spitsbergen, where coal was mined for many years. At its peak of development, there were more than 1,000 inhabitants in Pyramid with its theater, library, art and music studios, sports complex and round-the-clock cafe. When coal in the last mine ran out by 1998, the village was abandoned and mothballed. Today the Pyramid is a tourist destination. The museum and the hotel open all year round. That's all, my friends. Tell the truth, the video is interesting and does not look like any other video. Many towns now become tourist attractions. Everybody who wants to see those places can easily book a ticket and visit. Unfortunately, They are all abandoned and destroyed. Write a comment below in the comment section. Which town do you like the most and which one would you like to visit? Subscribe to our channel and become part of our huge family. Like this video and push on the notification bell not to miss new videos.